What's up, guys? I'm Emily Mason and welcome to Real Talk. On tonight's show, the guests and I will review David Fincher's epic psychological thriller Gone Girl and a film financed and made here in Perth, These Final Hours. Before we get started, let me introduce this week's guests, reviewers. We have actor Blake Prosser and film critic Luke Capone. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
Now, I know we're all very excited to talk about Gone Girl, but before that, we'll take a look at our first documentary piece of the evening. Here's Jade Colman reporting on unemployment levels in the city of Mandurah.
Mandurah, the second largest city in Western Australia, just south of Perth. It is known for its aquatic recreation and cultural festivities. What is little known about the region is that it has the highest youth unemployment in the state and sixth highest in the country. At 17.3%, it is far worse than the national average. 17-year-old Mandurah local Nikita Giannini has been looking for work for the last 6 months with little success.
I have been applying for countless jobs, about 10 a day, and that would go between online and also a lot of walking the streets with my resume, handing them out to actual face-to-face contact kind of thing. I've been applying for jobs in retail a lot and hospitality, as well as a couple of reception and like babysitting jobs here and there. They need to have someone with a lot of experience, which is hard to get experience when they won't hire you to get experience, and then it just keeps going like that. I don't think I've found a job yet because I'm not as experienced or as qualified as I could possibly be. So I could have a lot of qualifications and things, but since I'm kind of fresh out of school, it's better to have a qualification and get into it. And also it's pretty competitive out there. Generally people stereotype and things like that when I tell them I'm unemployed. They say that, they kind of wonder why I don't have a job because I'm young and I should be able to.
Mike Vega owns a small construction company in Mandurah. We asked him to discuss his business operations and what considerations he makes when hiring new workers.
The advantages of hiring young workers, I suppose the main reason would be that they're young and fit, whereas an older person might be struggling because the work is very difficult and physically demanding. I get young people applying for jobs probably about 2 to 3 times a month. I normally employ someone that's more suited to the position, so if they have done any experience in that field, they will be probably more likely to get the job, whereas someone who hasn't had the experience.
Dr. Michael Dockery, a research fellow at Curtin University, is an expert in wages and unemployment policy. We asked him for a statement on the issues surrounding youth unemployment.
Well, there's definitely problems associated with youth unemployment and unemployment generally, and with youth, there's issues about, crime and vagrancies and things like that. If you're in main unemployment, we know that that has an effect on your self-esteem, and it makes employers think, oh, there must be something wrong with you if you stay unemployed for a long time. So your chances of getting into work actually drop off the longer you stay unemployed. Employers have a way of using training wages or bringing young people in who are unskilled but paying them a lower wage while they're less productive, and give them the chance to gain those skills and that experience.
Whilst youth unemployment in Mandurah shows no signs of improving soon, it has become clear that experience and skills are the main factors separating those who can find work and those who can't.
It's definitely a complex issue and one that affects many of our viewers at home. We'll move on now to our first review of the night. Based upon the global best-selling novel by Gillian Flynn, Gone Girl explores some of the deceit and secrecy in modern marriage. On the evening of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunn, played by Ben Affleck, reports that his wife Amy has gone missing. Under pressure from the police and growing media frenzy, Nick's facade begins to crumble, and soon his deceits and strange behaviour has everyone asking the question, did Nick kill his wife?
Seen this girl around here?
Yeah, I remember her.
There's a lack of empathy. Amy lost a lot of blood in there. Then somebody mopped it up.
Why do they mop up the blood if they're trying to stage a crime scene?
Whatever they found, a trained monkey who doesn't get...
Man of my dreams. This man of mine may kill me.
What about my son?
And may kill me. In her own words,
This man may truly
kill me.
I loved Gone Girl, and not having read the novel, I did not fully know what to expect when I first sat in the cinema. David Fincher brings his signature moodiness and sharp filmmaking to this adaptation, which brings weight to the story's plot. The film has some interesting things to say about marital relationships, the media and public image. Most of the performances in this film are fantastic, giving credibility to what is ultimately a far-fetched story. You definitely need to suspend disbelief to enjoy Gone Girl. What did you guys think? Blake, we'll start with you.
I agree with you 100%. The movie was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, good.
I was sitting on the edge of my seat, especially in the movie. I was just, It kept me entertained, and I was just captivated just by the entire film.
Very good. Okay, Luke, do you agree?
Oh, definitely. I really enjoyed it. David Fincher doesn't make bad films. It's a continual form of his, and it's a real slow burn, deliberately paced, and it draws you in, and you're drawn into the point where things start a bit crazy. Your disbelief is still there because you're just so into the world the movie inhabits.
Okay, and what did we think of the overall acting performance as well?
It was fantastically cast. I personally love Rosamund Pike, and just in her being in the film was amazing. Ben Affleck I thought was good, but I think recent years he's been making decent films, and it's been actually coming off good on him, especially with like Argo and The Town as well. And I think this is again brilliant film for him. And I was surprised with Neil Patrick Harris and Tyler Perry's casting, but it actually came off really well as well.
Luke, any favourites for you?
It was very well acted. Like Affleck played the very good, kind of somewhat schlubby everyman husband, kind of an idiot. Like he plays that well. It's probably what he's like in real life. And Rosamund Pike's amazing. I've only seen her in kind of romantic comedies lately, so it's good to see her just this cold, evil woman that she plays in this film. It's really good. And then Neil Patrick Harris was good, but it just takes you out for a second, because the second he popped up on screen, the whole audience just giggled.
Okay, so who do you think would really enjoy this film? Who do you reckon the target audience is?
Definitely not children. No, definitely not. I think it's a very intelligent film. I would like to say like people over 20 for adults, but then you have some like 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds that watch these films, and then they get, what's the word? Yeah, they like them. So it could be anyone really over the age of 15.
Okay, would you agree?
A little bit. I think definitely like 20 onwards, and if you're a little bit older, it helps because it says a lot about marriage. So anyone who's been in even a good long-term relationship can see some of the undertones in there.
Yeah. And a rating out of 5, what would we give it?
I would like to give it 5, but I couldn't because no film is perfect, so definitely a 4.
4 and...
It's high 3s or a 4. It's a good movie.
Okay, well it seems like we're quite the fan of this film. So we are going to now have a look at the growing backyard wrestling trend.
My name is Ryan Newitt. I am 18 years old and I'm a backyard wrestler. I do backyard wrestling up in Mullaloo. Backyard wrestling is pretty much what you'd see in professional wrestling, like on TV, like you'd see WWE, TNA. Pretty much it's every aspect of professional wrestling, but without the business side. I do it because I've always loved watching it since I was very little, and I've always wanted to be a part of it. So it's always interested me in a certain way, and doing it is just pretty much kind of a dream for me. So I really enjoy it. What makes me so passionate about doing wrestling is just the atmosphere of it. Just everyone coming together and just wanting to put it on a show. Like even if it is in a backyard, if it isn't something like very professional, we just do it for the love of it, and that's what I'm really passionate about. I've never really pictured us becoming anything bigger than we already are. It's more so because it's more of a hobby. We don't really want to be as professional or have all that dedication where we can just go there with a couple of mates and put on a good show. Professionals aren't really very supportive of what we're doing. We've had times where professionals have said that they think that we're just doing it to ruin their business. We're not doing it to make the professionals look bad. We just want to go and hang out with our mates and put on a good show. We respect everything they're doing. We have no beef with them. People who are negative about it, we just say, well, it's really just a hobby. We know we do it because we like to do it, and you have your opinion. So, backyard wrestling is probably one of the stupidest things anyone could ever do, but we do it anyway.
An interesting look at one of Perth's emerging subcultures. Certainly a few hunks for the ladies watching. And now on to our final review of the night, These Final Hours. The first major feature release from up-and-coming Australian writer and director Zach Hilditch. The film was shot and set in pre-apocalyptic Perth, following James, played by Nathan Phillips, who is determined to spend his last few hours alive getting drunk and participating in a massive hedonistic party. A twist of fate leaves James the ward of the young and innocent Rose, played by Angourie Rice. The viewer is then taken on a journey across the suburbs of Perth as James battles with his conscience and tries to reunite Rose with her family.
I just hope you're all keeping safe out there.
It's so encouraging to see a film of this scope and ambition set here in Perth. The film reaches very far and is quite convincing considering its very modest budget. I found myself immersed in the tension between orgiastic hedonism and emotional panic that the film forces upon you. I began to ask the question, what would I do? As the film paints its fairly grim portrait of humanity before extinction. Angourie Rice delivers a convincing performance in what would be a very unnatural and far-fetched role for a child to imagine. The production design of the film is as brutal as the plot and helps make what would normally be a corny ending seem like a well-deserved relief. So Blake and Luke, what would you do if you knew the world was going to end in 12 hours?
Oh, if the world was going to end in 12 hours, I'd probably freak out a bit.
Yep.
I think I'll spend most of my time with family and friends though.
Good answer. Luke?
Definitely some time with friends and family, and say the things that you need to say or that you couldn't say, and and then just eat everything because you're not going to feel sick tomorrow. It's not going to be here tomorrow.
Yep, perfect. That sounds good to me. Now, it's quite a novelty for this film to be set in Perth, so do you feel like we stepped up to the plate?
I feel we keep stepping up to the plate with every feature film that comes out in Perth, especially with like Needle and this and Son of the Gun and Reckoning. We just keep getting better and better, and I'm looking forward to the next one up in the ante. Though this film took my breath away.
Oh, good. Luke, what did you think?
The Perth setting's very immersive. Like, the streets, and it just looks like home. So you're really pulled into that story. And then, Perth's a good step in for, endless dreary suburbia. As much as I love where I live, it's a bit of that. And we're seeing a lot more films here, obviously. With Ewan McGregor was in town for Son of a Gun, and Simon Pegg filmed something here not too long ago as well. So, and the government seems to cooperate and makes things happy. So Zach spoke very highly of the government making things easy for him to film here. So that's really good.
Oh, good. And what did we think acting-wise? Obviously, everyone's raving about Angourie.
Oh, she was amazing. I especially, no spoilers, but I had tears coming down watching the film.
Really?
And I was so disappointed that I couldn't be an extra in it. It was
Oh, it's quite a novelty being in Perth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What did you think, Luke?
Angourie was amazing. She was the first person cast in the film, apparently, because they did a short together, her and Zach, the director. So she was first in, and then everyone else was kind of cast around her. But I can't remember the lead's name, but he was a very good Aussie, everyman, somewhat bogany guy. He did that really well. You feel like you would know him somewhere in your life. So.
Yeah. And so who do you think would enjoy this film in terms of a target audience? Do you think it's just Perth people, or who would it be suitable for?
I think anyone really that would enjoy just loving parties. I think most of the younger crowd, I think it's targeted towards.
Yep. And Luke?
The younger crowd, but also a little bit older, kind of that halfway maturing age between wanting to party and then being responsible.
Okay, well, Perth, things are happening. Now that's all we have time for, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and tune in next week to see our reviews of Lucy and Guardians of the Galaxy. To play us out, please welcome Jack Stanley singing U2's Ordinary Love. Until next week, good night.
Sea wants to kiss the golden shore, sunlight warms your skin. all the beauty that's been lost before wants to find us again. I can't fight you anymore, it's you I'm fighting for. Sea throws rocks together, but time leaves us with polished stones. We can't fall any farther if we can't feel ordinary love, and we cannot reach any higher if we cannot deal with ordinary love.